I am incredibly pumped for today's topic because we are looking at the absolute gold standard of sports supplements. We're talking about creatine. But we aren't just going to give you the standard superficial overview today. We are taking a real deep dive into the world's most researched sports supplement, focusing on exactly how it works on a molecular level. Get ready, because the biological mechanisms at play here are absolutely fascinating.
So, let's dive right in by starting with a question that I'm sure every single one of you has experienced firsthand. Why do we hit a physical wall after just 8 to 10 seconds of an all-out sprint or a super heavy lift? You know the exact feeling I'm talking about, right? You're exerting maximum effort, and then suddenly, your muscles just fail. They literally stop firing with the same power. Well, it turns out, this highly relatable scenario of sudden muscle failure perfectly sets up our biological battery analogy.
To get to the bottom of this, here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with Chapter 1, the muscle energy crisis. Then we hit Chapter 2, the creatine phosphate shuttle. Chapter 3 covers unlocking the ACT/mTOR pathway. Chapter 4 is all about how to dose creatine. And we'll wrap up with Chapter 5, debunking common myths.
Okay, kicking things off with Chapter 1, the muscle energy crisis. We really need to explore the specific mechanisms that cause our muscles to run completely out of fuel so fast.
It all starts right here with adenosine triphosphate, or ATP. Let's break that down word for word. Adenosine is our base molecule, and triphosphate simply means it has 3 phosphate groups attached to it. Tri, meaning 3. Think of ATP as a fully charged biological battery. It is literally the fundamental energy currency of your body. When you pull a heavy deadlift or run a full-speed sprint, your muscles absolutely require this fully charged battery for that high-intensity contraction. But here's the catch. Your body can only store enough ATP for about 8 to 10 seconds of maximum effort. It gets drained incredibly fast.
And when that battery drains, it transforms into adenosine diphosphate, or ADP. Let's look at that word. Di means 2. So our molecule is violently snapped off one of its phosphates to release that massive burst of energy you needed to contract your muscle. Now it only has 2 left. It is essentially a dead battery. This rapid accumulation of dead batteries, this ADP, is what directly causes our muscles to fatigue. We hit the wall simply because our body cannot produce new, fully charged ATP fast enough to match the crazy demands of our maximum intensity exercise.
Which brings us right into Chapter 2, the creatine phosphate shuttle. This is where the magic happens, and how the body brilliantly solves this energy crisis.
Enter phosphocreatine, also known as PCR. Again, decoding this word for word, it's exactly what it sounds like. A phosphate group riding a creatine molecule. If ATP is your main battery, think of phosphocreatine as your portable power bank. It's a high-energy compound sitting right there in the muscle cell waiting for its moment. Its entire job in life is to take its phosphate group and instantly donate it to that dead ADP battery, turning it right back into fully charged ATP. It instantly recharges our reserves, which is exactly what allows us to keep pushing right past that initial 10-second wall. Picture the entire intracellular energy shuttle system inside your body. It's like a wildly efficient factory. On one side, you have the mitochondrion, the powerhouse of the cell, slowly churning out ATP through oxidative phosphorylation. On the other side, you have the cytosol, where your muscle fibers are actually doing the heavy lifting and burning through that ATP like crazy. Creatine and phosphocreatine act as this incredible biochemical shuttle system running between the two. They literally physically transport high-energy phosphates from the mitochondria all the way over to the myofibrils, where the energy is needed instantly. It's just an incredibly elegant, highly efficient transport system keeping your engines firing.
So, what does optimizing this shuttle system actually look like in real life? Well, 5.7 pounds. I really want to highlight the incredible real-world impact with this number. In clinical studies, 5.7 pounds represents the average lean muscle mass gained by well-trained athletes when supplementing with creatine. And that came alongside a massive 70-pound increase on their 1-rep max leg press. This isn't just a fun theory. Supercharging your ATP resynthesis creates highly visible, highly measurable performance gains.
But wait, the benefits don't stop at energy. In Chapter 3, Unlocking the ACT/mTOR pathway, we're going to see how creatine goes way beyond just providing temporary power.
When you take creatine, your body undergoes a process called cell volumization. Because creatine is an osmotically active substance, as it enters the muscle cell, it actually pulls water inside along with it. This causes the cell to physically swell up. But here's the really fascinating part. This isn't just cosmetic water retention. Actually, scratch that. It's more like a profound biological trigger.
The physical swelling of the cell acts as a massive anabolic signal that tells the body, hey, we are under tension, we need to adapt and grow. And that cell volumization creates a profound downstream effect, the sustained activation of the ACT-mTOR pathway. If you aren't familiar with it, mTOR is essentially the master switch for muscle growth in the human body. By keeping ATP levels high and volumizing the cell, creatine literally unlocks this major signaling pathway. It directly facilitates muscle protein synthesis, reduces protein breakdown, and drives long-term muscle adaptation and hypertrophy. It is directly telling your muscles to build new, permanent tissue.
So, how do we actually put this into practice? Let's move to Chapter 4, How to Dose Creatine, to look at the exact protocols for the gold standard supplement, creatine monohydrate.
Here are the most widely accepted and proven dosage protocols to maximize your muscle saturation as fast as possible. Step 1 is the loading phase. You're taking 20 grams per day, usually split into 4 5-gram doses so it's easier on your stomach, for 5 to 7 days. This rapidly saturates your muscle tissue. Then, step 2 is the maintenance phase. You simply drop down to 3 to 5 grams per day indefinitely to keep those muscle stores completely topped off.
Now, some people find that taking 20 grams a day upsets their stomach. If that's you, you can look at the rapid loading strategy versus the gradual maintenance strategy. While the loading phase obviously works faster, getting you fully saturated in about a week, a consistent daily intake of just 3 to 5 grams without any loading will eventually achieve the exact same muscle saturation. It just takes a bit longer, over a period of about 4 weeks. The absolute key takeaway here: consistency.
All right, moving into our final chapter. Chapter 5, Debunking Common Myths. We are going to do a rapid-fire, evidence-based teardown of the gym lore that surrounds this supplement.
These are the big three. The three biggest misconceptions that keep people from utilizing this highly effective compound. Number 1, people claim it destroys your kidneys. Number 2, that it causes severe dehydration and cramping. And number 3, the famous one, that it causes hair loss or baldness.
Let's set the record straight. The scientific consensus completely disproves these fears. Studies show it is perfectly, absolutely safe for healthy kidneys when taken at recommended doses. And rather than causing dehydration, it actually increases cellular hydration by pulling water into the muscle. And as for baldness, a massive review of scientific studies shows literally no evidence linking creatine monohydrate to hair loss. When used appropriately, creatine has an incredibly favorable safety profile, with studies confirming its absolute safety for up to 5 years of continued daily use.
And let's broaden the scope here for a second, because the benefits extend far beyond just giant bodybuilders. Yes, athletes and lifters benefit immensely, but women see huge increases in lean mass and strength too. Older adults can use it in combination with resistance training to fight sarcopenia, which is that age-related loss of muscle mass. And vegetarians? Because they consume no dietary creatine from meat, they have super low baseline stores and often see the most dramatic cognitive and physical improvements of anyone. It really is vital for overall human health across completely diverse populations.
So given its proven ability to protect the brain, fight age-related muscle loss, drastically improve our metabolic function, and literally supercharge our cellular energy, we have to ask the question: is creatine the closest thing we currently have to a universally beneficial anti-aging and performance compound?
Thanks for watching. Subscribe our channel, which give us motivation to make better content for you. See you in the next video.